there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi. Ah, yes, the manga. Okay, I still gotta read that. Definitely gonna read it before starting the event, for sure. But for now, prep stream. I love how cool everyone looks. I mean, look at them all. They all got that drip. Hello? Yo, I'm in pain today. I'm not gonna even, like, fake it. Ow. I don't know why I'm having, like, the worst cramps today. But it's okay. I'm too lazy to take any meds, though. Worst case, if the cramps get too bad, I will go out for a pain pill. But right now, I'm just living. And today's another prep stream. Starting off with Vigil. Look at how cool he be. Oh man. I wonder how the other event's gonna be. But starting off with File. Basic info, codename Vigil. Gender, male. Combat experience, 8 years. Place of birth, Syracuse. Date of birth, January 15. Race, Lupo. Height, 174 centimeters. Infection status, medical tests have confirmed that no infection is present. Physical exam, physical strength standard. Mobility standard. Physical resilience standard. Tactical acumen, excellent. Combat skills, excellent. Originium arts assimilation standard. Profile, the last leader of Syracuse's Bellone family and one of the mayoral candidates for Syracuse's Nova Volsini special administrative city. Through Operator Texas, he has formed a relationship with Rhodes Island on behalf of the city he represents. He excels in mid-range combat and exhibits comparable strategy and leadership abilities across a variety of tasks. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests reveal clear, normal outlines of internal organs, and no abnormal shadows have been detected. Originium granules have not been detected in the circulatory system, and there is no sign of infection. At this time, this operator is believed to be uninfected. Yeah, a mayoral candidate. Cell originium assimilation, 0%. Operator Vigil shows no signs of originium infection. Blood originium crystal density, 0.13. Operator Vigil rarely comes into contact with originium. Archive file number 1. A taciturn Lupo youth. Though he declined to disclose his identity, the fact that he comes from Syracuse, coupled with his not particularly subtle attire, makes it fairly easy to guess what Vigil's background might be. As such, when he first visited Rhodes Island, a hushed silence followed wherever he went. But the situation was quickly dispelled before it could turn into trouble. During lunchtime, Chiave, a fellow Syracusan, greeted him cheerfully. Aosta and Broca, who were with him at the time, seemed reluctant to show their faces. However, the scenario that people were expecting to break out did not unfold, and Vigil had a calm and cordial conversation with Chiave's gang. This conversation ended with Chiave's arm around Vigil's shoulder, and Chiave proclaiming to the surrounding operators that his gang would celebrate Vigil's arrival. Oh, look at him gaining the power of friendship. According to the recollection of an operator present at the time, had people not already been familiar with Chiave's personality, they might have mistaken him for the one with the higher status back there. Archive file number 2. Establishing ties with Nova Volsini was an unexpected opportunity for Rhodes Island, but it also poses its own risks. The reason has nothing to do with Vigil. The city is simply too unique. The city is a special administrative region acknowledged by Signora Sicilia, where the mafias are not allowed to enter or peddle their influence. Of all the countries across the land, perhaps only in Syracuse can a city like this, independent of the existing powers, pop up out of thin air without causing widespread panic and backlash. The existence of the city undeniably represents a future recognized by Signoria Sicilia, a challenge to authority that may well unfold in Syracuse. However, it is also destined to stand in opposition to other mafias. Vigil sought out Rhodes Island on the basis of medical needs. As a rule, Rhodes Island normally tries to avoid cooperating with such politically sensitive entities. However, when Operator Texas brought him and Penance before Dr. Kelsey's office, the situation became much more complicated. He made no effort to conceal the events that had unfolded in Old Volsini. His vision of the future was his vision of the future ultimately moved Rhodes Island, and so this relationship was realized. His reason for choosing to become an operator seems almost ordained by fate. What he said was, he saw how Rhodes Island gathered people from all across the land and all walks of life, and he wanted to spend more time communicating with and learning from them. He displayed a genuine thirst for knowledge of things beyond Syracusa, and his humility has won him the acknowledgement of most operators. As such, he has already made many friends, and they openly speak highly of him. Wow, he literally has the power of friendship on his side. Dang. It can even be said that Vigil's arrival changed many people's impressions of Syracusans. Consequently, this also led him to stay at Rhodes Island for longer periods of time than his identity allows, which Penance frequently berates him for. Archive file number 3. As long as Vigil and Penance are both on the landship at the same time, you will see them dining together. In order to avoid complicated rumors, after Penance joined Rhodes Island, Vigil would introduce her to the other operators as his big sister figure. Ah yes, hey everyone! This is Penance, my big sister. Yeah. While Penance has not really admitted to this point, she has also not gone out of her way to deny it. However, it is no mystery that both Penance and her ideals are special to him. I was brought up to be the Familia's heir. From the very beginning, I've always been pursuing ways of expanding the Familia's power, and ways of doing my job more efficiently. I'm not such a noble person. During a chat with the doctor, when the topic of his origins came up, he smiled and explained, "Now that I think about it, that was from before when Familia Texas was liquidated." As the power had an influence of the Colombian family grew, some of their ideals and practices started to leak over to Syracusa as well. For better or worse, Syracusa's family also started to become more civilized, and that affected me to some degree as well. Originally, I was going to become someone who would stop at nothing to secure advantages for the Familia, but Lavinia... Oh right, I'll call her Penance here, since she seems to like that codename. Anyways, after my father brought her into the Familia, things changed. After getting to this point, Vigil paused for a while, as if carefully considering his words. So many things happened along the way, including her dispute with my father. In the end, she decided to accept the position of judge that he arranged for her. But this isn't a story that you should be hearing from me. Ask her yourself if you're interested. Looking back, in the process of learning as much as I could to become an effective leader of the Familia, I not only learned about Syracusa's rules and Colombia's cunning, but also the justice she had never given up. Aww. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of overwork for him, but at least he has Lavinia on his side. And also the power of friendship. Lots and lots of power of friendship. I am excited to see what the new place will look like. Unfortunately, Demetrius had always been tasked with responsibility of intel gathering, so he was always running around and had little time to talk to Penance. If he had the same opportunities as me, maybe we wouldn't have turned out like this. He let out a sigh. Forget it. Let's not talk about this anymore. In any case, Doctor, I see Penance as a superbly upstanding person. For her to be able to hold on to her ideals in a place like Syracusa is an incredibly rare and precious thing. Plus, my mother passed away at a young age, and my father, though we didn't have a bad relationship by any means, there were certain things that I could not easily share with him, so... He suddenly showed some hesitation and paused for a while. When he got to this point, before finally continuing, when I was still relatively young, she played both an older sister role as well as... Vigil, I need to talk to you about the planning of the new city. Also, I heard the quality of your work hasn't been up to par lately. Have you been staying up late again? From not too far away came a clear, pristine female voice. Without a doubt, it belonged to Penance. Doctor, if you'd excuse me. Vigil stood up and trotted towards the voice, mumbling justifications for himself as he ran. It's not like I held up the project or anything. In that rare moment, he appeared to be just another impetuous, fearless youth. This is actually pretty cute though. I like how part of his file, he's just talking about Penance and Penance and Penance and Penance and Penance. He's like, oh my goodness, yes, I'm just gonna keep talking about her in my file. I wonder if she'll do the same for him when we read her file. Oh man. Yes. Lavinia is a flower that grew in the soil that is Syracuse. And ooh, another DVD. Huh. Interesting. Digimon. Now, archive file number 4. Vigil is full of uncertainties. He has never seen himself as having all the answers. As a matter of fact, had it not been for Rubio's death, oh Rubio, and Dan Brown's accusations opening his eyes at a critical juncture, he most likely would have perished in the maelstrom that his father set into motion. When he stood at that church, he ultimately never asked his father why he did not spare him. Why he would sacrifice the entire familia to do what he did, because he already knew that the answer he received would be no different from what he told Dimitri. In the end, he cast aside his former brother and set out on a thorny path that had never before seen the light of day. Vigil's afraid. He does not know if he will be able to succeed. When he sat across from Signora Cecilia, he was already prepared to go out in a blaze of glory. After all, he never intended on answering her. In the face of her casual yet also fateful question, he could only put his most heartfelt thoughts and ideas forward, and truthfully admitted to her that his ideas were far from bulletproof. After all, even if a new ideal had already sprouted within his heart, it was still immature. Vigil's anxious. He feels that there's too much for him to learn. While serving as Minister Karachi's secretary, he never had to deal with anything particularly complicated. But when confronted with official duties that would influence the operations of an entire city, he immediately came face to face with his shortcomings. This deficiency causes him a great deal of grief, and he is aware that the only thing that can fill the gap is time, which is one thing he lacks. Despite that, all he can do is put his head down and do what needs to be done, nose to the grindstone. There is no other way. Regardless, Vigil knows that he is fortunate enough. Signora Cecilia accepted his challenge. He has penance and Texas at his side to assist him. Furthermore, there are people in Nuova Volsini who are also motivated to build a new city. He treads down a path that he cleaved open for himself. He cannot assert that Syracuse will change as a result of his actions, but he knows that what he plans to do will leave an indelible mark upon the land of Syracuse, and he is ready to give everything. Promotion record. Rhodes Island's cafeteria is committed to satisfying the different tastes of our diverse operators, often holding culinary experience weeks centered around the cuisine of specific countries. And Syracusans are one of the groups on Rhodes Island who assign the greatest importance to their own cuisine. Whenever Syracusan cuisine appears on the cafeteria's menu, Vigil will personally appear in the kitchen to ensure the dish's authenticity. Wow. He's like, oh my goodness, it's my time to shine. Time to be the master chef. This is one of the few times when he reveals his cold, ruthless side, and may perhaps be the only conservative part of this young man who is otherwise committed to change and novelty. Oh, and he's tough in the kitchen too. Ooh. Oh man. Ooh. Oh, I bet Angelina would have fun going around, checking how things changed out. He will carefully examine each recipe in advance, urge procurement to obtain raw ingredients from local, trustworthy Syracusan suppliers, and personally participate in the creation of each dish. Under such circumstances, even the most creative and liberated chefs are unwilling to leave their personal touches in these dishes, lest their intent to add tropical fruits to provide a wonderful taste and texture to the sauces earns them the premonition that someone is secretly staring at them from the darkness, warning that their lives are not securely in their hands. Wow. Hey, hello. However, once Vigil leaves the landship, these same chefs will retaliate by making new renditions of Syracusan classics. For their safety, they do not take pictures. I'm so curious how the original Syracusan food tastes and then the fusions that come out after he leaves. They're like, okay, he's gone. Now it's our time to shine. Let me add this, then this. Teehee. I wonder if he feels a disturbance in the force, even if they don't take any pictures. He'll just show up and then he's gonna be just pissed off at them someday. Future coming. Hiya! Time shall judge me. What time is it? Judgment time. Tisk tisk. The courtroom sure is lively today. Today's trial will open to the general public and broadcasted live. Far too many people will be joining in on the fun. Heh, this is the first time I've seen jurors representing so many different familiae arrive in such an orderly fashion. This almost seems more like a press conference than a trial. After all, the man on trial today is none other than Leontuzo Bellone. Signora Cecilia gave the order that the familiae are not to interfere with the new city, but didn't elaborate on her plans beyond that. Everybody's scratching their heads. Finally, the court representing Signora Cecilia's will is about to make its move, so of course it has everyone's undivided attention. But that woman adjudicating the trial is that Judge Lavinia, and everybody knows she's tied up with the Bellones. There are no Bellones anymore. They're stricken from the books. What kind of connection could she have? If you ask me, she's taking the initiative to convict Leontuzo. Exactly because she wants to show everybody that she's done with the Bellones. And besides, Signora Cecilia's made it pretty clear that what she's up to here, she's gonna make an example of him. Oh man, true. Time judged all would have been the perfect O's reference. She's playing her cards well. Who knows? Anyway, since Bernardo was the mastermind behind everything, his son's obviously involved. Today's trial should give us the closure we're looking for. Fair enough. Look, the judge is here. Hey, girl. Order in the court. Presumably, many of you are perplexed about today's hearing. That is to be expected because while you may know the man on trial today, you do not know the contents of the case. I ask that you all remain patient. I trust that nobody has forgotten that day, 1 week ago. So much happened, Minister Rubio's broadcast, and the ensuing chaos that engulfed the city. Many people died during that turmoil, and many others had their lives turned upside down. Fortunately, it was all eventually smoothed over. Many people now know that Bernardo Bellone, the man who instigated this chaos, lost his life to it as well. Yet his objectives, as well as his motives, remain mysterious. During that incident, another man played an important role. He is none other than Bernardo Bellone's son, Leontuzo Bellone. Yeah, 1 week afterwards. Bring him forward. Order. For some of you, this may be your first time seeing me. For others, you might have known me for a long time. But first, allow me to introduce myself. I am Leontuzo Bellone, and I am just an ordinary civilian now. Ordinary civilian? Aren't you the heir to the Familia Bellone? I was, but now I do not belong to any familia. I know you all have many questions, and I'll answer them one by one. First and foremost, however, I must explain what my father did and how it came to this. All this most likely began with the death of Karachi, Ministero dei Lavori Pubblici. Leontuzo, standing at the center of the courtroom under the watchful eyes of the entire crowd, shows no signs of nerves at all. He methodically lays out the backdrop to this entire incident, starting from the assassination. The other familiars seem to have already received the news about the ownership of the new city. I know, the familia are not to interfere with the new city. That she's willing to hold down the other familia is proof that she wasn't lying when we talked. But as far as I know, she never said who would manage the new nomadic city, nor did she explain her rationale. Oh man. I usually play the game with JP voices, so I'm not entirely sure. That's how Grey Hall has always worked. Signora Cecilia doesn't need to explain everything. Her orders are absolute. But We need explanation. Right now, everything about the new city is shrouded in uncertainty, and we owe the people an explanation.
That's right. Which also brings us to our first dilemma. Everything happened so suddenly. Am I supposed to get up on stage and announce to everyone, hey, we're going to build a new city without familiae? That would only scare everyone away. If the only ones who showed up there are you, me, Selenia, and Rubio's followers, we've already failed at the very first step. I'm guessing Signora Cecilia wants to see how we handle this.
Looks like you have something in mind.
I do. I want you to arrest me, Lavinia.
Come again?
My father's actions, no matter his motivations and intentions, put us in this mess. Someone must be held accountable in the eyes of the people.
But
besides, I'm doing the same thing, aren't I?
He's like, yes, arrest me. Force me to do this as community service. The assassination of Karachi, the alliance with the Saluzos, the assassination of Donna Rosati, and finally, the separation of the secondary core area. Though some of these events were not secret, when people learned that Bernardo was the driving force behind them, a commotion still broke out in the courtroom. Leontuzo lays out his father's plan as objectively as possible, using the information he has. Finally, after an hour-long exposition, the story comes to an end. I bet Signora Cecilia is probably like, just watching this with popcorn.
I know that many of you are here on behalf of various familiae, and I assume you've all heard a number of rumors. That one rumor is correct. Everything was my father's doing, and the reason why he did it was for Syracuse without familiae.
How's it possible that the Donna of the Familia would want to tear down the entire system?
Good question. Even I, his own son, was shocked when I found out. This idea took root in my father's heart decades ago, and it's only now just bore fruit. Only just now bore fruit.
Leontuzo, drop the act already. Your father's dead, and you're still here. That's why you're trying to clear your name with all this nonsense.
After all, we know exactly who the new city belongs to. I can handle accusations from some familiar associates or soldiers if that makes you happy.
If he was the mastermind behind all this, then why did he end up dead? Il Signore de Lupi. Leontuzo almost blurts the words, but he finally suppresses them within his heart, because everything about that existence is utterly absurd.
My father believed that if familiae should not exist, then he should be eliminated too. So after setting everything in motion, he chose to commit suicide.
Pretty damn good joke there, kid. You're telling me he was such a selfless saint? He really did all this for the common Syracusan?
The exact opposite, actually. My father was solipsistic, if anything. Everything he did was for the sake of painting in his memory he called Syracusa. Which is why he failed. Oh right, I get it now. Ha, no wonder. That's why Bernardo's dead and you're still alive. I don't know what kind of stunt you pulled, but you somehow stopped your papa, and then went to Signor Cecilia and took credit for it. That's how you got yourself the right to manage the new city, and now you're up there spinning a magical tale for us, trying to win some sympathy for yourself. Isn't that right, you patricide?
Leontuzo lets out a deep sigh, but in the end, looks away without refuting the accusation. Deep down, he cannot deny it.
Look at that! See the guilt on his face!
I have a question. Even if we did believe all that garbage, Your Honor, what does that have to do with the trial? It's not like you want us passing judgment on a dead man and handing down a sentence for his crimes.
Because Leontuzo is not here as a witness to tell you about his father or opine about his actions. The case being heard today concerns the ownership of the new city. Leontuzo arbitrarily determined that what is to come in this new city, and in Syracuse as a whole.
Leontuzo, please explain to us why Signora Cecilia chose you.
I was both my father's accomplice in everything that happened, as well as the one who stopped him. I became the latter after I learned the truth. I believe that my father was misguided, and that his actions would not bring a new era to Syracuse. Even if dragging all the familia into a war would somehow see them erase each other in the end, it does not necessarily mean that the people would choose a new way of life. But beyond that, I saw a real opportunity in all this. So at the end of everything, I went to Signor Cecilia and asked to borrow a city from Syracuse. A city without familiae. Another joke? Why would Signor Cecilia ever agree to that? Because it wasn't actually a request. It was a challenge to Syracuse. In Signora Cecilia's eyes, my father's methods violated her order, and she couldn't tolerate that.
Yeah, it's a good thing Penance is a judge. Because oh my goodness, these people. I'm still debating if I want to do the horror dance. I'm gonna see what other people posted for their presentations. If at least one other person does a dance, you know, I might just have to do it, for reals.
But the method I chose, though I don't want to put it this way, was something she found permissible. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be standing here speaking to all of you.
Leontuzo looks in a certain direction to where a Songsa priest is standing. The blindfolded priest does not seem to be paying attention to the ongoing trial.
Alright, if what you say is true, then Signora Cecilia's order does make more sense. Or I guess, this is the only explanation for why Signora Cecilia would have decided that. If this really is true, Leontuzo, then everything you're doing today is just for show. Call us a trial? You might be standing here. This is all just announcing you as the owner of the new city, isn't that right? No, the city does not belong to me. The new city will have everything you'd expect it to, with one exception, familiae. You really think you can just... you really think you can keep them out? What a stupid question. It's just as if I asked you, has the boundary between familiae and ordinary civilians ever been respected? Familiae are only willing to abide by Signora Cecilia's rules because she's strong enough to dominate them. And this gentleman's agreement among familiae only exists because they don't have what it takes to wipe each other out. Of course, you'll come to the city. I know that, obviously. But this time, you'll see what it is we've always underestimated. Of course, I will welcome any familiae looking to bring change as partners in this new city.
I don't think there's any difference between a city without familiae and a Syracuse without familiae. They're both crazy.
Do you say that because it's unrealistic or because it's hard?
Because it's unrealistic, of course.
My father was definitely misguided, but I don't think either of these ideas are unrealistic. You're just too used to letting your eyes decide what is and is not realistic. The familiar are deeply ingrained into this land. You can't help to uproot them, nobody can. But familia can be changed, and they can become more civilized. Even if they can't be wiped out, they should be changed into something else. And as long as that something else is what we want, then that's fine too. And you really think you can make that work? I might fail, but don't you think it's worth a shot? The only thing you want for yourself is a handout from Signora Cecilia. The familiar system still exists, though it may appear shaky right now. It is by no means so easy to topple. No matter if this business today is serious or just for show, it's only possible because you have Signora Cecilia's permission. Is there actually any point to all this? Unfortunately, if things don't pan out the way I want them to, then I'm afraid we'll simply be replaced like a tablecloth. Plus, I've never considered my success inevitable. That day, I was honestly ready to die. But that doesn't mean I won't take an opportunity that presents itself, handout or not. Maybe in some other place, given the same set of circumstances, someone in my position could have been a better person and turned down the handout. But in Syracuse, at this very moment, if this is the only way to move things forward, then that is the pill I will swallow. Would Ministro Rubio have done what he did if there was another option?
Oh, Rubio. I like how honest he is too. He's just like, yeah, I accepted the handout, so what?
Are you aware of the consequences? No. What we're doing is unprecedented. How am I supposed to guess what the consequences will be? But this is what I believe. Lavinia, I owe an answer not only to all of Volsini, but to you and everyone around you, right? After that day, we didn't get a chance to talk things through, and only had a vague idea of what the other was thinking. Are we really walking down the same path? Is a new city that I want the same as the one you want? We don't really know how the other thinks, do we?
I trust you.
If you trust me, that's all the more reason to pass judgment on me. Not just for your sake, but for all the officials who've rallied around you because of Rubio. Otherwise, what reason would they have to trust me, a man who was mafia royalty?
This isn't a burden you have to carry alone. I ought to shoulder the responsibility with you.
No, I finally come to understand the words you said to me, Lavinia. Our worldviews are fundamentally different. As a former heir to Familia, there's no way I can empathize with your perspectives and experiences. What I have to suffer now is just dealing with whatever's left over after unloading that identity. Also, from a utilitarian's perspective, the people trust you, and this is a real chance for you to lock in that image.
If you put it that way, I'm afraid a lot of people see this trial as nothing more than a show.
Let them think that then. It doesn't matter. Even if they do think it's a show, sometimes the willingness to put on a show is already a gesture in its own right, don't you think? Anyway, Lavinia, that's what I think. We haven't accomplished anything big just yet. One day, we'll end up mistrusting each other. One day, when we come to our senses, we might realize that we've been misguided all along, but...
Leontuso Balone, what is it that makes you stand here so resolutely? You were born into Familia, yet now you've become the Familia's worst enemy. Why?
Why, huh? I ask myself the same question a lot. Is it my idea of chasing efficiency? Was I raised on ideals of justice? Is it because of the actions of an admirable government official? Is it a conclusion from a minor observation of changes in the Familiae? Maybe all the above. If we put all these reasons together, we might be able to come up with an answer. The time has come. Maybe Karachi avoided assassination and became a successful Ministero dei Lavori Pubblici, working hard towards a similar goal. Maybe Minister Rubio chose to show restraint and continue to occupy his position, secretly winning people over with his lofty ideals and striving to bring change to Syracuse. This wasn't some elaborate plan I've been hatching my whole life. It suddenly dawned on me at some point, and I only made this far on luck. If I die, there'll be someone who comes after me, and another man after that. And none of this is a testament to how hard I work or how unique I am. It just means that the time has come for Syracuse to change.
One question after another is thrown at Leontuso, the entire court filled with voices interrogative and vitriolic. He stands in the center of the courtroom, earnestly and tirelessly answering every question he deems worthwhile. Slowly but surely, more and more people begin to think this young man is actually quite thoughtful and that he's serious. In the end, the courtroom's entire atmosphere seems to cower before him.
All the jurors present and the civilians watching, and all the people tuning in through various media. Until now, my heart has been filled with uneasiness. I borrowed the city from Signor Cecilia, but never saw it as something that belonged to me. I borrowed the city from Signor Cecilia so we could work together to build something completely new, for all of you to work towards a Syracuse free from the Familiae. Because I made that decision on everyone's behalf, I must also face everyone's judgment. But if you'll let me make a single grand statement, at this moment, Syracuse doesn't have the right to judge me, and so I can only be judged by all of you.
Dimitri's at least listening.
You will receive this right, just as if you had won the power to build an entirely new city. Maybe one day, at one point in the future, the power to determine Syracuse's future will also lie in your hands. This new city welcomes all those dissatisfied living under the yoke of the Familiae, and those who have their doubts, including doubts about me. That's all I wanted to say.
The trial, believed to be Leontuso's first public speech as Nuovo Volsini's mayoral candidate, sparked widespread discussion as well as heated resistance from some Familiae. But without a doubt, this one-man show of a trial, at long last, laid the foundations for Nuovo Volsini to truly come to fruition. It is but a new beginning. Success! I wonder how long the trial lasted. And now for the double-edged sword. Hiya! Looking back on it, he had every idea what was going on. Ooh. The shady undercurrents flow beneath the clamor of Carnival. Yet Liantuzo, in his coma, is unaware of any of this. Liantuzo has a dream. In his dream, he recalls his long-forgotten past. The central figure of his dream is neither his mentor and friend Lavinia, nor his close companion Dimitri, or even his father, Bernardo. It is not Karachi who had guided him with such a steady hand, nor is it Rubio, who startled the entire city with a single gunshot. It is an old man that Liantuzo has buried in the deepest recesses of his memory. Back then, the Great Hall just passed the resolution to construct a new nomadic city. Back then, Lavinia had not yet arrived in Volsini, and he, following his father's orders, took over the family business. Back then, Syracuse's rainy season was still a long one.
I hereby find Enzo not guilty. Not guilty? He ripped out my sister's vocal cords. Julia's still in a coma. There was no evidence directly implicating him. Of course not. He destroyed the evidence. And he assaulted me. According to the witness's testimony, you're the one who provoked the conflict, and his actions should be considered self-defense. However, Enzo has said that he understands your anger and will not take action against you, either criminally or civilly, but in this matter. You mean he forgives me? You're Julia's brother, and you're my brother as well. We need to maintain a good relationship, Ennio. You bastardo. I never liked you from the start. Julia insisted on being with you, so I reluctantly agreed. And look what happened. You made her mute. I already told you, this has nothing to do with me. She fled back home. As her boyfriend, I'm very upset about this myself. Don't worry, after I bring her back to our home, I'll get some of my boys together and we'll go find the real culprit. No, I won't let you take her away.
What a sad trial. I feel bad for Julia.
Signori, what is the meaning of this? We're here for a pickup. But court is still in session. Then let's wrap it up quick. We're here to take Julia home. Well, in that case, wait. Liantuzo, so the Bologna underboss has made an appearance. Regardless of the circumstances, Julia did flee back home. She should be allowed to rest quietly until she wakes up. Even if Enzo is her boyfriend, he should only be allowed to visit her. I won't allow him to set foot in my home. Ennio, don't get carried away. If Signor Bologna hadn't spoken up, your pastry shop would be in a pile of ashes by tomorrow. Ennio, please respect the court's ruling. Yes, Your Honor. Enzo, do you accept Signor Bologna's proposal? The Bologna underboss has spoken. Of course I accept. After we're done here in court, I'll go see her. Well then, this concludes our proceedings here today.
The fact that that guy took out Julia's vocal cords, like, what the heck, dude? Scary.
Buongiorno, Signor Bologna. Buongiorno, Judge Russo. Lavinia misses you very much. I have the letter she sent me. It seems she has a good relationship with Familia Bologna. You're not satisfied with the outcome here in court today. Enzo's behind this. Everyone can see that. I know what you mean. However, he has destroyed all the evidence. Enzo has some complicated Familia connections. This is the most I can do, given the circumstances. Lavinia tells me that you're a man who does not tolerate injustice. Times have changed, Signor. People can change as well. Now, if you don't mind, I should take my leave. I still have some matters to attend to, and you must be quite upset right now, and I need to go talk him through it. As you wish. Ever since the Grey Hall announced the construction of the new nomadic city, Volsini has been in chaos. As you've just seen, the court stopped functioning a while ago. Judge Russo is one of the few judges in Volsini who still got the balls to hold a trial. I know. Then when do you plan to come back? Don't you think it's odd for Enzo to be so public about searching for his girlfriend? This isn't some lover's quarrel, it's clearly more than that. He's very impatient. Are you saying that Julia knows something that she isn't supposed to know? And he won't let it go. Enzo is with Familia Strachey, and they've been causing trouble lately. You've been wanting to make a move against them, right? Looks like Leon isn't planning on playing the righteous hero. Funny enough, I got some interesting news of my own. There's an old folk legend among the civilians in Volsini. Over the years, many mafiosi who testified in court have met untimely deaths. The civilians say that it's divine punishment. Well, is it? Hardly. The deaths of these people, while somewhat peculiar, are nothing more than assassinations by rival familiae. There's no chance someone is pulling strings behind the scenes. They would need a thorough understanding of all familia dynamics, as well as the ability to leave no trace of their existence. I doubt such a person exists in Volsini. Perhaps you're right. They're getting ready to make a move. We'll talk about this later. Heh. I never expected the Bologna underboss to show up there. Whatever. As long as I can still see Julia. What really happened between you two? Nothing, just a misunderstanding. You should head back now. I'll go find Julia. Till the dawn, I'll explain to him when I get back. Good. Glad you understand it's on you to explain to the boss. Huh. Well, I better go to Julia before I see the dawn. You're ditching your wingman. Interesting. After I see Julia, I'll need her to... Hey, out of my way! That's an Iberian outfit? Well... Go to hell! What is this, a mob hit? I better stop. Stop. But... We're here to take him back alive. Just leave him to me. Alright. It seems you guessed wrong, Dimitri. Ouch! What happened to me? I remember I was going to look for Julia in the park when I was jumped by some weirdo in strange clothes. And then... They knocked me out. But where am I now? Did somebody rescue me? You will die here. Who are you? You're really gonna kill me? I'm a Strachey. Familia Strachey? You colluded with the Saluzos to sell the Strachey's stockpile of Originian weapons. Your boss is looking for you. I bet he wants to ask you about that, no? Is Julia up yet? Poor Julia, she stumbled upon your business with the Saluzos, so you tore out her vocal cords. She was planning to rat me out. I'm not out to kill her. I still love her.
Sure, you still love her, dude. Yeah, sure.
You dare claim you love her? You're Ennio? Yes, you've gotta be Ennio. I get it. You're upset. And you've got a bunch of people together to scare me, right? This is all some kind of show? No, you would die here today. Do you understand what you're saying here, pal? Of course. Your Honor, if you will. You people are crazy. You're all nuts. A judge has the power to convict, but not the right to personally take a life. Moreover, based on what I just heard, there still seems to be some wiggle room in regards to Enzo's sentence. Am I right, Judge Russo? Now's a chance. No one said you could leave, Enzo. You never cease to surprise me, Signor Bologna. The surprising one here is you, Your Honor. You really had me fooled with your professionalism. I never suspected that, behind the scenes, you hold the law in a complete disregard. Your actions make you utterly unworthy to wear a robe and hold a gavel. But Liantuzo, when have rulings against the Syracusan familiae ever truly followed law? No one cares about the evidence. No one cares about the outcomes. I won't let that happen. Say what you will, but I've seen these things countless times. Moreover, if one crime isn't enough to warrant death, then what about 10? Or 100? Mafiosi love to talk about their opulent familiae. But how many civilians have bled for this opulence? How many skeletons are there in the closet? Are these sins not worthy of capital punishment? Following your logic, every mafioso should be killed. Yes, and what of it? Sorry, but I can't let you kill him. No one has the right to take another's life. One judge who ignores the law paves the way for a lawless future for countless others. The future? Look around you, young Liantuzo. Syracuse has no future. It does indeed. It's merely obscured by Signora Cecilia, the Dodici familiae, and this torrential rain. Even if Lavinia had the ability to influence you, she could never shake your foundation. Everything you've been exposed to as the Don's heir. Systemic violence, deep-seated arrogance, and a pretentious hypocrisy. However, you, Signor, you seem to be different. You genuinely believe in the existence of justice. You, an heir to the familiae, are standing here to uphold the dignity of the law. Do you understand? This is nothing less than the greatest insult to the people like us. Humph. I'll have to retreat with Enzo for now. Damn it, where'd he go? Sorry, Signor Bellone. If I stay here, these guys are gonna kill me, but if I go back to the familia with you, the Don will kill me. I don't want to get killed.
But by running into that other corner, you're gonna—
Humph.
Testing? Shoot. I'm gonna assume it's still working. Yeah, should still be working. It looks like it's back. Ugh. I feel some fear. Okay. Yay! Woohoo! Thank goodness! Oh, I would have been so freaking pissed off if the engine actually went down, though. I'd be like, no! How freaking dare you! I'll fight you!
And speaking of fighting, how dare you lay hands on a made man? If Liantuzo hadn't stepped in, I would have been dead meat. Alas, I must apologize to you, Signor Bellone. I sincerely appreciate you saving me from that evil judge. The evil judge. But you already know about my betrayal. Going back with you is no different than jumping off a bridge. But then, what should I do? Go hide with the Saluzos? They might not even think I'm worth their time. Wait. Writing out Judge Russo would generate massive headlines. Just think of it. A bunch of civilians killing mafiosi right under the Don's noses. The balls on these pricks. Come to think of it, there must have been some Saluzos killed too. I'm sure they'll want to know about that.
Oh, this guy.
Signor Bellone. Calm down, Ennio. I come not for revenge, nor do I ask you about Judge Russo. I just have one question for you, which is, why do you trust Judge Russo? You're a leader and your familia, and an honorable one at that, I can tell. I want to trust you, but you live in a different world from me. Even if what you say is true, I will never see it play out, nor will my sister. I know how the familia get their revenge. They send presents to your doorstep. A hand, a foot, maybe an ear or two. If that is the only way justice is served, then at least I want to see it with my own eyes. After our first meeting, Judge Russo took me to meet some people. Those people are just like me. I'm going to go meet with them again now. Can I come with you? If you wish.
He follows Ennio to a restaurant where people are already waiting. Most of them wear a look of grief, and some have visible disabilities. When they see Liantuzo following Ennio, they do not react much. They simply move to the tables with the tables aside, arrange the chairs into a circle, and begin taking their seats one after another. Ennio sits down with them. Leontuso stands at the entrance, silently observing the entire scene.
Today, we gather to share sorrows with our friends. I'll go first. My sister discovered that her boyfriend, a mafioso, was secretly smuggling goods with another familiar, and as a result, her vocal cords were destroyed. My daughter tried to take her own life on numerous occasions at home. I had to tie her down. Her abuser shows no signs of remorse. In fact, they're still trying to take her away from me. My little brother.
The victims share their stories of terrible things that have happened to them or people around them. Some people are angry, others are crying, and others are almost too pained to speak. Yet they console one another, like brothers and sisters.
Our dear friends and family, or even ourselves, have suffered injustice at the hands of the familiar. Some have died, some have been gravely injured, and others have been left with scars that will never heal. We're hurt, we're enraged, but there's nothing we can do about it.
No, Judge Russo has given us hope. That's right, in our moments of despair, it was Judge Russo who told us that we are not powerless. Judge Russo told us that we should not lose faith in the law. What we should hate are the villains who trample on it. Judge Russo told us that he would uphold the law and seek justice on our behalf.
Yes, Judge Russo will punish the villains for us.
Does it mean Judge Russo is basically... Is Judge Russo kind of like a Batman? Oh gosh. Or heck... maybe even like a Milscar. Because the law must be just. Because our anger is righteous. Because the mafiosi should be punished for their sins.
It's me. There's something I think I should tell you. The Saluzos just sent us a crew to the courthouse. What? According to our informant, it seems Enzo was spotted at the Saluzzo base. Tisk. You're going to the courthouse, yes? Yes. I knew it. I was afraid you'd act an impulse. But tell me why, Leon. This involves the Saluzos, and it's no longer just your business. You're the underboss. Yes, and I want to remain worthy of the title. In that case, do whatever you think is best.
You want to speak with me, Your Honor?
Yes, the Familia has been growing more and more ruthless these days. I decided to give them, the employees of the court, a vacation.
Really?
Yes, pass the message along. Everyone who is still at work can return home.
All right. Aw, he's sending them all home on vacation. How nice. But oof.
Are there other matters to discuss? Yes, several. Senor Bellone.
He looks at the old man standing before him. The old man is no longer as calm as when they first met, nor as passionate as he had been the night before. The old man just looks tired.
Don't you hate me? Why would I hate you? Familia Saluzzo is coming for you. If only I hadn't let him get away. If it wasn't this Enzo, it would have been the next Enzo. His double dealing is just more proof of his country's hopelessness. I think we've all gotten used to it by now. But you, senor, you could have enjoyed your victory in peace. Why are you taking the risk of coming to see me now? I followed Ennio and saw a support group of victims of the Familia. I'm a victim too. 60 years of loyalty. And what did I get for it? A package at my doorstep, containing my wife's bloody hand. That's when I became one of them.
Oh, dang.
But, from what I've seen, you're just acting as your hitman. To uphold the dignity of the law, and to ensure that those victims who have lost faith in the Familia do not lose faith in the law. You've made a wicked bargain with the victims, signed in blood. You've far exceeded the bounds of the law. I don't believe that everything happening now is what you originally intended. Whether they had coerced me or raised my blade on my own accord, for their sake, it makes no difference here in Syracuse. But you, senor, what are you planning to do? Did you come here to see me repent, or to extend your hand in charity? You old fool, I'm here to avenge the mafiosi you murdered. Enzo, I'm impressed by your ability to adapt to your situation. Hush voice, Senor Balone. This has nothing to do with you, Senor Balone. I'm here on behalf of the Familia Saluzzo. I shall avenge the countless mafiosi that have died by this bastardo's wicked, bloody hands. As for the misunderstanding between us, we shall discuss those later. So you've got the Saluzzos backing you now. Yes, what of it? That's good then. What are you doing? Dimitri. You called? Tie them all up. Then go give my regards to the Saluzzos. Ask them to send someone a bit higher up the food chain. At once. What are you planning, Signor Balone? I will give you two options. The first option is to reopen Enzo's case. This time, I'll be present, and so will associates at the Familia Saluzzo. I guarantee the trial will be safe. The second option, leave this place. Out of respect for the law, I will escort you to the city gates, but beyond that, we cannot guarantee your safety. You are serious about this? Of course. I also guarantee that the judgment you issue will be carried out. Then obviously, I picked the first option.
Right now, just based on this, it seems like justice is an eye for an eye.
Even if I were to die immediately after this trial, I would gladly choose this option. You would not die, otherwise I wouldn't know how to explain all this to Lavinia. You need to give her a message from me. In the future, and if when she travels to Volsini, the Balones will protect her, as always. Now, go prepare to reopen the case.
You never told me about this. My teacher never told me about this. Ooh! And look at the suit. Translators E and voice lines are great.
Back then, telling you would have only hurt you. Judge Russo was planning to tell you before his death. But I told him I'd tell you when the time was right.
You picked a good time indeed.
I know you were worried that when I woke up, I'll be devastated by everything that happened during Carnival. But I sincerely mean what I say. I feel grateful, Lavinia. You see, history repeats itself. Back then, Volsini was dangerous and chaotic. Amid the fighting familiae, no one cared about the lives of the ordinary people, and so Judge Russo became the blade of vengeance. And now, although Nuovo Volsini has its flaws, the implementation of the new Urban Management Act has been highly effective. Admittedly, in areas we overlooked, Irene came close to making a foolish decision. But that was merely a close call.
Irene? I'm relieved to hear you feel that way.
We all know that many things have changed. All we need to do is try a little harder, that's all.
Yeah, what is Irene doing here? And oops, I went out too soon. Irene. And now for... What is this? Oops, I didn't mean to click on that one. I mean that thingy, I meant this. So this is his toolbox. La Puntura? The shoe shiner trembles as he enters the Balone Familia parlor. He trembles not because this is Balone territory. He had shined Bernardo's shoes for 30 years, and the man has always respected those who respected him. The last time he had stepped into this parlor, it was so that he could offer Bernardo the chance to name his son. His fears come from the fact that the one sitting here today is not Bernardo, but his son Leontuzzo. He has not heard much about the Balone heir. All he knew was that the young master had never come to him for shoe shining.
My father isn't here at the moment. But you can trust me as you trusted him.
His words calm a bit, allowing the shoe shiner to explain why he had no choice but to come. His son leads a decent, honorable life and fell in love with a lady from Colombia. However, that lady was also being pursued by a maniac who didn't take kindly to her rival. 3 nights ago, his son was cornered by the maniac and beaten within an inch of his life. Sheesh! He sought aid from the courts, but the man belonged to a Colombian familia, and his lawyers were easily able to secure not guilty.
When I was leaving the courtroom, he stepped in front of me and shoved 2 blank notes into my pocket.
He lastly told me it was for my son's medical fees. The shoe shiner went on, tears streaming from his wizened eyes. Leontuso listens in silence. He knows that if his father were here, he would surely give the old man a pat on the shoulder, acknowledge his suffering, then provide a solution to this. A humane way. Generally speaking, these things could only be resolved with bloodshed, but that was not how he does things.
What is it that you wish for, senor? I have no requests, Don Leontuso, other than justice for my boy. Justice. Am I to understand that you want this man to feel the same pain as your son did? That's right, nothing more.
Yep, an eye for an eye. Leontuso snaps his fingers, and a red-headed young man steps out from the door to the side.
Dimitri, go investigate the gang behind the guy first. Easy enough, but what comes next? Next, if not mistaken, those Colombian gangs want to sidestep us and cozy up to the local government. Then let's propose sending local talents to the Colombian frontier. Hopefully, every familia will enthusiastically agree. Let them send off a few stronzi who should have been exiled long ago.
The red-headed youth snaps his fingers.
So we'll ship this guy off too. Exactly. Capisco.
With that final declaration, the man leaves the room. Leontuso turns towards the astonished shoe shiner.
This is the justice I can give you. Are you satisfied with it, senor?
The shoe shiner quickly catches on, and his gaze turns from astonishment to gratitude.
Take this. This is my pistola. Place it by your shoe shiner, and nobody will cause you trouble. But don't worry, I barely use it. Whenever you feel like you can sleep easy again, just give it back to the guard downstairs.
Aw. Poor shoe shiner though, or poor shoe shiner's son. That's so scary though. He fell in love with someone who had a yandere. Ooh, just ooh. Oh man. I want to know why Irene's there. Like, that's the most confusing part. And now beautiful penance. So file. Basic info. Codename penance. Gender female. Combat experience none. Place of birth Syracuse. Date of birth July 9. Race Lupo. Height 168 centimeters. Infection status. Medical tests have confirmed that no infection is present. Physical exam. Physical strength standard. Mobility normal. Physical resilience standard. Tactical acumen standard. Combat skill normal. Originium arts assimilation standard. Profile. Former Syracusan judge who became acquainted with Rose Island through Operator Texas, currently works in the logistics department and serves as a legal counsel for Rose Island. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests reveal clear normal outlines of internal organs, and no abnormal shadows have been detected. Originium granules had not been detected in the circulatory system, and there's no sign of infection. At this time, this operator is believed to be uninfected. Cell originium assimilation 0%. Operator penance shows no signs of originium infection. Blood originium crystal density 0.12. Operator penance rarely comes into contact with originium. Archive file number 1. Former Syracusan judge. During her entrance interview, Operator Penance said that she came to make amends for her past mistakes, telling us that she had been made to betray justice against her will. Our investigation into the events at Syracuse reveals that Penance was made judge with the support of the Bellone family. But unlike other mafia-backed judges, she was not entirely subject to the will of the Bellones, being willing to pronounce guilty sentences for the members of the family. something which is almost unheard of in Syracuse. She also maintains a sibling-like relationship with Vigil, leading us to believe that the Bologna family may not be your average Syracusan mafia family. We also know little about the former Donna of the Bolognes. However, for more information in this regard must await further discussion with Penance and Vigil. There were doubts as to whether Penance would be able to adapt to Rhode Island's legal department, given her clear stance on the inviolability of law and justice, as well as the fact that Rhode Island often operates in legal gray areas. However, she has shown a proper understanding of our true mission, rather than coming into conflict with operators who have different methods from her. They seem to have an implicit understanding, even quietly helping each other out. Perhaps those who are well-versed in the legal world understand that, deep down, they share a common goal of defending justice, no matter what circumstances may force them to, and no matter what means they use now. Archive file number 2. Penance described the Syracusan legal system in detail. Nomadic cities in Syracuse are ruled by their respective mafia families, and the legal systems of these cities are an extension of family rule. There are no police, only judges who are responsible for public order. Speaking the will of Signora Cecilia, the vast majority of incidents are taken care of under the table by the families involved, most of them never making it to court. The judges themselves are often informed after the fact that a case has been resolved, or in some cases, needs them to resolve it quickly. Even when a case does make it to court, the outcome of the trial is often influenced or outright decided by the family. Those who knew Penance during her time as Judge Lavinia called her a righteous judge. In Syracuse, judges labeled as such often often end up disappearing or losing part of a limb. As a warning to other judges, Penance has never ended up that way, though she never thought of herself as a particularly righteous. She told us that she became a judge with the help of the Bologna family. When she was first appointed, the former Don of the family had promised her a better future, where she would truly deliver the justice of law. The nature of the Bologna family seemed to have given her more freedom, but also more pain, as she saw such justice delivered by the family as inherently unjust. Ooh. Iberia might have some relationships for Ager. Could be. Which would make sense in that case. Still, Penance has never allowed her troubles to affect those around her, nor demanded the same of others, as she does herself. As in the case of Vigil, for example, this is mostly because they came from the same place, of course, and Vigil does not exactly lead a healthy lifestyle. As such, most of the other operators show an understanding. Archive File 3. We just finished. Won't you congratulate me, Lavinia? What is it? I've always envied your Bologna backing. Things will go much smoother now that I have a familiar support myself. And it feels good to have somebody at your back. I would never have let myself look the way you do now, Lavinia, if I were you. How many years have you been a judge? About 2. Why do you ask? I saw Bortolotti today. Who's that? A judge. Now an assassin. He died today, right in front of my eyes. An arrow went through him. I'm lucky to be alive. Let's just say I never heard anything. Do you think it was a good thing? Do you feel better now that you have a familia backing you? Behind you? Having a familia support is what you're proudest about as a judge? No, it's not my place to approach you. Bortolotti is dead. He abandoned his ideals before he died, but he held on to his appointment letter. Meanwhile, I'm still here today breathing and in one piece because everyone knows that the Bolognes are behind Judge Lavinia. How did the rule of law come to this in Syracuse? I sit with the mafiosi every day, listening to them telling me what to do, and I do everything in my power to do it well because it's better for everyone. Everyone goes about their business as usual the next day because I did. But I can see the fear in the eyes of the common folk, the way they keep their distance. After the sentence is pronounced, they dare not cry where they are prying eyes or make their appeals to a judge. What am I doing? Defending the law, justice, society, public order? None of the above. All the judges, all the courts, the entire legal system of Syracuse is designed to be an accomplice for the mafia. The people who had high ideals are dead, but I'm alive and you're alive. I couldn't do anything. While you boast about having familiar backing, there but for the grace of the mafia goes the law of Syracuse. You're drunk, Lavinia. I'm not. Yes, you are. I'll be going. Recorded in the judge's lounge. Oh man, I got one lappy. One in the first 10 pull. I'm hoping I can get another one. I promised myself this week if I wash my bed sheets by the end of the week, I would be able to buy gacha game currency, and I did that yesterday, so I can buy more currency. Woohoo! There's hope in the world. There's still time. Archive file number 4. Penance has many hopes for the new city. This is her first step towards being able to truly represent justice. The new city means many things to many people. The mafia fight for control, while the common folk do not have the luxury of caring about where they live. As a judge, she has earned an approval of sorts from Signora Cecilia. It is still justice backed by political power, but for the first time in her life, she finds herself with sufficient freedom, and finds herself facing a question she had never had time to think about. What should she do as a judge, when all of Syracuse is used to the courts serving the mafia? Growing up in Syracuse, she never had the chance to see how things are done in other places. No matter how much she disapproves of the system, no matter how much she wants to free Syracuse from mafia control, what is the Syracusan legal system without the familiar? It is always easier to destroy than to build from scratch. Things have not been easy, even with like-minded comrades like Vigil around her. Nor have they truly freed Syracuse from mafia control. How then are they to build new order? Oh no, the next event character. Oh, I feel some fear. Uh-oh. Oh man. Decisions. I may pull some more though, and then hope for the best. We'll see. Just uh-oh. It is always easier to destroy than to build from scratch. Things have not been easy, even with like-minded comrades like Vigil around. Nor have they ever truly freed Syracuse from mafia control. How then are they to build a new order? As a mere judge, Penance knows that her powers are limited, and she knows that building a new order is no easy task. What she learned and experienced over the past several years is far from enough to guide her towards a new legal system that people can accept. Now she finds herself understanding Bernardo's actions. His mad dream had been a Syracuse without the mafia, while her own mad dream is a city where true justice is upheld. Bernardo gave his life for his dream. How far will she go? Under the influence of alcohol, Penance spoke of the late Bologna Dawn. In the presence of the doctor, she spoke of how she seemed to understand him so well, yet not at all. How she gave her hope, yet never trusted her. How he gave her hope, yet never trusted her even unto the end. All she can do is bear witness to the hopes he left behind, and devote the rest of her life to realizing it. But there will come a day when they will watch the dream come true together. I hate him so much, but the more I hate him, the more I... Those are Penance's final words before she passed out and was carried back to her quarters by the doctor. Dang, the doctor was buff during that time. If the doctor could carry Penance back to her room, dang. Just dang. Promotion record. I'm sure you're not blind to how things are. I'm sure many of you think that what I'm about to tell you are just empty words, trying to give you false hope about the future. Nevertheless, what I want to tell you is this: trust in what you have learned. The cost is a high one, and perhaps it's hypocritical for me to stand here and say this, but if we as judges do not hold firm to our beliefs, if we do not hold firm to the law, then there will be no one to uphold justice for those who are weaker than us. Never forget why you chose this path. Penance's speech at her alma mater. True, it's probably draggy. And now under my umbrella. There are only so many futures one can choose in Syracuse. Dang, though, why so many good banners? It hurts. Back-to-back good banners are Okay, I gotta know. For the event, will I at least be able to farm, you know, those devices or rocks that I can change for gacha funds back at the base? Can I at least farm those to help me? If I cannot, then oh, this will hurt a bit. I'm back. Luna? Are you there? There's no response from inside the room, but Lavinia looks around and finds who she's looking for at the desk in the corner. The table is stacked with books that have been read, and sleeping at the center of the books is the girl hunched over at the desk. Papa? Luna? Huh? Sorry, did I wake you? I fell asleep? You sure did. I finished this book today, Lavinia. I read the notes you wrote in it and left my own comments too. That's amazing. It took me a month to get through that when I was a student, but you only took a week. I thought I may as well study at home since I don't have school to go to anymore. I'm sorry, the new city still needs some time to sort its resources, particularly education. I'll make sure you get enrolled in a new one as soon as I can. It's not your fault. After what Padre did, I didn't want to go to that school anymore anyways. I should be thanking you instead, Lavinia, for taking me in. I promised him I would. Besides, there's no way I could just watch Secretario Rubio's daughter live out on the streets. Actually, I don't care if I can go back to school. I mean, everyone already knows I'm his daughter. You had a long study session. You should take a break. I'll make dinner. It's fine, I'm not tired. I'll help you out. Do you know why I know how to cook? Why? Padre used to do two things as Secretario de Sicurezza Alimentare. Walk around the markets and look for the familiar. When he cooked for the familiar, he usually had to keep his guests company, so he couldn't cook for me and Mama. Mama didn't like to cook, so she taught me how. And I was usually the one who made our meals. I used to scold Padre in my head whenever I cooked. I still do. The kitchen knife streaks across the moist scallions and it makes contact with the chopping board. Stupid idiot. Why did it do that? Are you still unwilling to forgive him? Doesn't matter, he's not coming back anyways. It's alright, Luna. I'll be with you. Sorry, I don't know. We'll visit Familia Saluzzo tomorrow and put an end to this. You're his daughter, so legally you have the right to do this. Though I won't force you to go if you don't want to. I'm going. Padre was stupid, but I'd still feel bad letting Saluzzo's keep his body. You want a proper end to this whole thing too, right? Whatever reasons may be, the Saluzzo still owes an explanation. The famous magnanimous Judge of Orsini is gracing us with a visit today? I thought I'd find Don Alberto here. The Don is no longer in Volsini, but he did expect someone to come asking for Rubio's body, so he specially instructed us to offer you our hospitality. Though I didn't think you'd bring a little Luna along. I've seen you before. You used to work under Mio Padre. You remember me? Wonderful, just call me Teresa. So you're part of the Saluzzos? Yes, and it was no secret to Rubio. Don't worry, Senora Lavinia, the Don emphasized that we must wrap this matter up nicely. Do you think it's nice for us to have to personally knock on your door to get Secretario Rubio's body? How could you say that? His death was extremely troublesome for us, you know? Oh, my apologies, dear. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. He was a very dear friendly boss to work under. Everyone thought so. We were all upset by his death as well. We didn't come here to talk about this. But Your Honor, wouldn't you agree with me? His speech may have been quite moving, and even today I still hear that gunshot going off. But it's been a while since then and nothing has changed. It seems to me everything's the same as ever. The only thing that's different is a child lost her father. Have you been well, dear? Lavinia takes good care of me. Good to hear. However, her honor is a VIP in our new city with many affairs to attend to, so I don't see her having free time to play with you. Ah, how callous of your father to throw you away. To throw you away along with his own life, all for nothing. Ma'am, shush your face. Holy cow. That is so rude. Do you think Padre died for nothing? I don't want to lie to you. Let's say we hand over the reins of this new city to that Boulogne boy and our dear judge here. What could they possibly achieve? Your Honor, do you truly believe you can build a city free from the familiar? We did not come here to debate with you, Signorina Teresa. Only to retrieve her father's body. Of course, of course. Bring them both to Rubio's remains.
Come with me, you two.
Don't let her get to you, Luna. She's just trying to provoke us.
Can you really say that, Signorina? Shouldn't you know better than anyone the weight of what she was saying? It doesn't matter what you or Signor Liantuso think about your own capabilities. Your goals just seem so ridiculous. You can possibly think to defeat the Familiar with a slogan or two. Or do you really think that Signor Cecilia likes you that much?
You think Padre died for nothing? I don't want to lie to you. Let's say we hand over the reins of the new city to that Boulogne boy and our dear judge here. What could they possibly achieve? Your Honor, do you truly believe that you can build a city free from the familiar? Muttering, I'm sorry, Lavinia. Of course you would understand. Fairness is not a word in the mafioso's dictionary. We may have to borrow Signora Cecilia's power for now, but we will prove to her that we don't need it forever.
Bold words. But the girl doesn't seem to agree.
Luna? Luna? Where is she?
Kill some time with us, Signorina.
What did you do to her?
Oh, don't get the wrong idea. We didn't touch her. She left you on her own. Our job is just to stop you from finding her.
Oi! I knew you'd be back. My dear little Luna. Come, let's talk about your padre. What are you talking about?
Did you really think the Saluzos would leave things be? All of us attest the Ballones, and you, and Rubio.
So you devised a scheme to threaten me, with Luna as a hostage?
Threaten? Tisk tisk, I see you still don't know us well enough, Signorina. We know people like you. We could kill someone you love right before your eyes, and you wouldn't even consider revenge. So more. Unusual methods are required. Our little Luna should be with Teresa by now.
You mean? You dare?
Haha! Bingo, Your Honor!
I don't get it. How? How can you talk about Padre's death so lightly? Because life and death are everyday matters for us. One day you're telling a joke and the next you're gone forever. You get used to it. I don't want to. But you might just join the ones who disappear for good. That gunshot may have caused some misconceptions, and you might have thought your father died a hero. But give it a few days, months, years, and will anyone actually remember what he did? The sound of the rain silences everything eventually. Lavinia said she'll remember. And some of the people too. That's enough. And you believe her? If you really truly do, if you don't doubt her at all, then why did you come to me? You do have doubts, don't you? Even if Rubio's wish can come true, how much time will it take? Can you afford to wait that long? Or perhaps I should be asking, are you willing to wait, my dear? Let's be serious. Ragazina, you don't actually understand what Rubio was talking about. You don't care either. How could you at your age? Honestly, shouldn't the target of your hate be our dear judge instead? She lied to you about being patient. That's what Rubio said would come true. I mean, consider this. What if she was the one who made him do all this in the first place? Oh my goodness, this lady. Can we just, like, smack her? How much more blood will be spilled on the streets, all for a righteous lady of justice's ideals? I won't let you talk about her that way. But you do have doubts, no? Let's make a deal then, shall we? I'll hand over your father's corpse to Signorina Lavinia. We only ask that you put some nice words for us in any subsequent court hearings. Rubio killed himself, so Luzo had nothing to do with this, with his suicide. Just how much do you have to belittle Mio Padre and Lavinia until you're satisfied? Belittle? I'm just seeing the facts. I mean, do you not loathe your father for leaving you behind? You're wrong. I do hate him for dying on his own and leaving me behind. But I also know I should hate you guys even more. The familia who drove him to his death. Luna rips her backpack open to grab her hidden crossbow and aims it at Teresa. Oh, Luna, dang girl. Teresa meets the cold crossbow bolt with a smile. From the very start, you planned to lure Luna into killing Teresa. Well, that went dark. Are you people mad? Willingly sending one of your own to die?
Mad? Us? To us, Rubio was a madman. He dragged us all down for his insane, impossible fantasy.
You don't know the first thing about You don't know the first thing about Secretary Rubio.
You're right, we have no idea what he was talking about, but we do know how to deal with people like you. Relax, we have no plans to rub you out. But you better not get any ideas about finding the girl either. Just sit tight here till it's all over, and then we can go get Teresa's body.
Why? Is Teresa willing to throw her life away?
She was pretty unlucky to be Rubio's subordinate. But when she dies, her brother and her useless father will get to live. And she'll bring glory to the familia. If everything goes nicely, little Luna may even be able to fill her shoes in the future. Wouldn't that be nice?
Luna is innocent.
You had balloons backing you in the past, so we could only turn a blind eye to your antics. But the balloons are history now. Old Bernardo is dead. So do you really think we'd just let you do as you please? You're the main target all along. So if you want to blame someone, Signorina, blame yourself. You shouldn't have taken her in. A truly terrible decision.
Out of my way.
Tisk, truly a judge who strikes fear into the familia's hearts. Can't underestimate your combat prowess. A shame you're here alone. And what if she's back up? What? Lavinia, are you alright?
Leon?
Wise, and if it isn't Nuovo Volsini's very own celebrity, Signor Leontuzo. Or should I call you Representative Leontuzo now? Whatever you want.
How did you...
I heard you're planning to pick up Rubio's body, so I placed some people here to keep an eye out. Go, Lavinia. I have a rough idea what's going on, so leave it to me, the girl. Only you can save her. Leontuzo. What difference does it make, you being here? I came prepared, of course.
Oh, yep. Leontuzo in Texas, yep.
Shh. So Texas is here too. Stop them.
This way. Grazie. That's so sweet, though. Leontuzo's like, so, I heard you're gonna go pick up the body, so I was just worried about you. And I'm glad I came. The crossbow bolt nails Teresa's clothes down. Luna's eyes are glued to her, but a smile remains on the woman's face. Pretty good shot. You must have pictured this moment in your head so many times, huh? Shut up. If only you could see yourself now, my dear. When I looked into your eyes, I just knew. You're truly one of us. No, that's not it. Rather, is there anyone who isn't one of us? Does the judge truly think she's any less Base, less filthy than we are? How much blood does she have on her hands? And your father, what a beautiful speech he gave. But how many deaths did he turn a blind eye to? I don't believe it. Ragazina, what makes you think they can build a clean house with dirty hands? Padre's hands are clean, and so are Lavinia's. I won't let you insult them again. Luna keeps her crossbow aimed at Teresa, but the clerk does not flinch one bit. Insult? I'm only stating the facts. If you truly hate the familia that drove Rubio to his death, then this is your chance. What's wrong? Are you scared? Is it all your feelings of your father amount to? Shut up! Luna, stop! Ugh! A sharp crossbow bolt pierces through Lavinia's shoulder. Lavinia? Well, why? I'm sorry. Lavinia? What are those men doing? Ugh! She deserved that. Good job, Lavinia. Smack her. Calm down, Luna. And put your weapon down, too. Lavinia covers her shoulder and slowly but surely approaches the girl. Luna recoils in panic, but doesn't know where to run. No. She insulted Padre. She said he died for nothing. She insulted you too, said everything you do is meaningless. She deserves to die. It's like all the mafiosi. People like her will be punished in the end. But if you kill her now, everything will be over. The books you borrowed from me, aren't you reading them because you want to be a person who can judge others fairly? Oh no! But... I dream of Pop every day, and I dream of that gunshot. I don't know what to do. I study so hard so I can forget, but I can't. I can't. Who could forget? But the last thing your father would want is for you to act on impulse and forget what we should do, and where we should go. He waited decades for this one and only chance. He may not want you and I to walk the same path, but I can't just stand by and watch you stain your hands with blood. But I can't help it. There's no way I can. I can't wait that long. I want everyone to know Padre wasn't the kind of person they think he was. That day will come, Luna, I promise you. And until it does, I'll always be by your side. Even if I'm the last person in this land to believe in your father's words, I'll keep the faith and fight for it. Because I share the same dream. Lavinia walks over to Luna and cradles the crying child in a tight embrace. When you can't take it anymore, just come find me. I'll listen to your complaints, I'll cry with you. And when you're older, we can drink a little vino together as we complain to one another and bear each other's troubles when we can't handle them alone. Can I really? Of course, but you must promise me that you will learn patience. You must try to hold it against anything that angers you. Alright? I want to. I really wanted to, but I'm so sorry. Wah! I know. The crossbow drops on the floor, and the hands that were holding it grab onto Lavinia instead. Tears well up once more, but this time they wash away the anger and hate. After a long time, the crying finally stops. Lavinia wipes away Luna's tears and carries the unconscious Teresa out the door with the girl by her side. Dang, that was the ultimate smack if it knocked out Teresa. As they walk, she suddenly seems to recall something and says, I'm sorry, Luna. Huh? Whether it's me or your father, consciously or otherwise, we've been asking you to become what we want you to be. I've met enough people to know that justice and righteousness are not the only paths one can take. But a long time ago, when I had just started working, I was the same as you, hoping I could knock some sense into the familiae. I wanted to let them know that they can't do as they please. Then one day, I found myself at the entrance of an alley. If not for someone stopping me from going in, I may have died in that very alley. The person presented me with a box containing the gloves and hammer I wield now. Back then, I thought if I hid behind him, I might not be able to stand up for myself for the rest of my life. True, true, true. She is buff as heck. I took the weapon he gave me and walked ahead of him. Now that I'm recalling all this, I think that's what he hoped I do. And he'd also hoped that I would do this today. Mafiosi always treat death like it's inevitable, as merely the result of solving a problem. The cycle of violence is how they live and survive. Long, long ago, a bunch of people walked in the rain into an alley with no lights. They would either die in there or come out with blood in their hands. Then they went further, deeper into the alley, and gradually forgot why they were there in the first place. And in the end, they saw that the narrow alley was full with street. Syracuse is a labyrinth of narrow alleys, even dead ends. The people living inside the maze don't have many choices to make. If the choice was between people like me or the familiar, I'd rather insist on keeping you by my side. But you don't have to become me, and I'm not hoping for that either. I'd much rather to be able to take you outside this labyrinth entirely. What's outside of it? Roads, many wide open roads. Yay! Thank goodness. Poorly on Tuzo in Texas, though. Holy cow. The thorny road that continues. Gloves. It took a disembodied hand flying past her head for Lavinia to snap out of it. Just a few hours ago, she'd concluded her first ever trial of Familia Matters. Ever since she decided to walk this path she'd heard of and experienced many of the Familia's interference with the justices. Some around her had even gone missing by now, but she stayed her course. After all, she'd long prepared herself mentally. These troubles could not trounce her. In fact, the more they cropped up, the more she believed that she had to change this status quo. All until she finished her work for the day and entered the alley where she had parked her vehicle. It was then that she thought she should drop in tomorrow to see the man who'd supported her taking this path, to tell him how she hadn't let him down. And on the other hand, she thought, perhaps, that would make her seem too much of a pushover. Maybe something sterner was called for. After all, should his own familia fall afoul of a lawsuit themselves, she could only be impartial. If not for that familiar hand pulling her down, her head may well have been skewered by the bolt. She felt her own thoughts halt, leaving her staring blankly at the hand's owner. Bernardo stood in her way, taking out each figure that rushed her one by one. And only when she snapped out of it did she finally realize the gulf between what she had heard and pictured and experiencing it personally. A momentary silence descended on the alley, at which point Bernardo gave the underlings to his rear a nod, and they brought out a box half her size. Bernardo opened it, and within, there laid a metal gauntlet with a hammer shackled to it. Under the dusk street lamps, their gold luster almost stung the eye. But what hurt most about them to see was a circle of thorns winding about the glove. "I'm not going to protect you forever, Lavinia," said Bernardo, as he took out the gauntlet and handed it to her. "If you want to survive on this path, then you've got to learn to protect yourself, starting today." She was silent for a spell, took the gauntlet, and with no regard for the pain its sharp thorns laced across her skin, she puts it on, then walks deeper into the alley depths. She and Bernardo had brushed with death. She knew, though, the night was deep as ever. Bernardo would not take the same path as her. She had to go it alone into the darkness. A black dyed in sanguine red. The first and only gift Bernardo would ever give her was stained by blood on its very first day. Ouch, though, how to put these on. The way he just had it prepared for her, though. Now, innocent. I want some of that tea. Look at that drink. It looks yummy. I see some star anise, cinnamon, I think, and some other herb. Yummy, yummy. Night is always hard, especially the ones where she tosses and turns in the bed, waiting for the night to pass. The pale faded light, Aldon is a guest who has yet to arrive, for whom there is nothing to do but wait. Such nights are a familiar friend to Lavinia. What awaits after exhausting days, yet another exhausting day, filled with pretentious defending counsels, arrogant familia, and silent judges. The sound of the gavel echoes throughout the court. Yet is no different from a fairground game, except worse, because at least in the fairground, the hammer whacks the mole. When tormented by such cruel nights, Lavinia pulls out the creased letter at the bottom of her drawer. She remembers finding it under her windscreen wipers. Such letters were usually threats and warnings, but this was an exception. It is a short letter scribbled down hastily, reproaching Lavinia for pronouncing innocent a defendant that the familia had sent into the courthouse to take the fall. The letter wrote that Lavinia's self-righteous judgment had done more harm than good, a complaint that she had seen many times. The small attempts of the judges to do the right thing are often futile. Any small justice achieved in the courthouse quickly swallowed by the dark night outside. Yet the writer, after what seemed to be a long struggle with himself, left this line at the end: "No one cares, but at least there was one person who said I was innocent. Thanks." Lavinia has tried to deduce whom the writer of this unusual letter was, which is akin to trying to find a needle in a haystack. There have been so many people whom she knew were innocent, whom she pronounced innocent, but what of it? As the writer of this letter said, no one cares. Lavinia never stopped searching. Perhaps she wanted to tell the writer face to face that justice would never be alone and fleeting. As long as she was there, that justice would come at the gavel's drop. As the dawn breaks the night, that is, until she found the coroner's autopsy report on her desk. The cause of death was suicide. If this was the end that Syracuse had for its judges, then what was the point of the justice that she sought? A creased letter, a word of thanks, however insignificant it was, even if it could not light her desk like a lamp, perhaps there was someone who felt that she was the only defender of justice, then and there, and so she never gave up, even if she fights a lonely battle. If she gives up, there'll be no one left to fight it. If she kept silent, there'll be no one to speak up. There are only two ways to live: with the night before the dawn, allow it to consume oneself until one does not feel it, or search for what should not be consumed by it, and keep those things safe. The one thing that must not be surrendered is the right to define the light. Okay, her record was satisfying because of the slap. But oh, poor Luna. Now for Suzerain. So cute, so precious. Basic info. Codename Suzerain. Gender female. Combat experience none. Place of birth Higashi. Date of birth October 9. Race Volpo. Height 137 centimeters. Infection status. Confirmed infected by medical examination. Lavinia and Leon are adorable together. Best friends, best family. They got each other's backs, which is very sweet. Physical exam. Physical strength normal. Mobility standard. Physical resilience normal. Tactical acumen standard. Combat skill standard. Originium art assimilation excellent. Profile. Her real name is Lisa. Her surname hidden at the request of her guardian. Miss Suzerain may be young, but she has inherited profound talent for originium arts from her lineage. She is also under the guidance of Dr. Kelsey while receiving treatment at Rhodes Island. After Miss Suzerain decided to apply to Rhodes Island, she was approved to participate in some low difficulty tasks under the supervision of other operators. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests have shown the outlines of her internal organs to be indistinct due to abnormal shadows. Originium granules have been detected in her circulatory system, confirming her to be infected with uropathy. Cell originium assimilation, 8%. Clear traces of originium crystals are visible on the left arm and shoulder. The likely route of infection was through a wound inflicted by another person. Blood originium crystal density 0.18. Operator Suzerain's infection is currently under control. However, because Suzerain is still growing, we hope that the infection will not affect her development. Miss Suzerain comes from a unique lineage. One can tell from her tale that she is different from most Volpos. Furthermore, Miss Suzerain's current condition is more stable than expected. In addition to her regular treatment, we should also consider how to treat this child so that she may receive a proper education and mature into an outstanding... Why are you looking at me like that? This has nothing to do with my personal feelings. I simply have an obligation to Suzerain as her guardian. That's right. It's an obligation. Look, this is the essence of humanitarianism in action. Unnamed operator from the medical department. Unnamed operator. Boy, what's at that bit at the end? Archive file number 1. Lisa is a wonderful and well-behaved child. I mean, after taking care of so many strong-willed children, strong-willed people, it's rare to meet such a well-mannered and sensible child. Of course, this is my personal belief. Despite the unfortunate fact that Lisa was infected at such a young age, she has still such a strong and pure aspect to her that I can't even begin to comprehend what her parents went through to shield her from that kind of environment. However, because of that, Lisa lacks some basic knowledge regarding the infected. Perhaps we should seriously consider educating Lisa about these subjects, which may leave her feeling confused and sad. However, it would also avoid the inevitable pain and trauma that will come with her status as an infected at some point in the future. Even if we exaggerate a little bit, if Rhodes Island is unable to even guide these infected children down the correct path so that they can understand their destiny and choose a life that is right for them, can we really seek to break the status quo of the infected simply through medical treatment? Of course, Lisa may also show us that the bright future that lies ahead. That is the reason I'm so fond of her. No, it's not just because she's leaned against my shoulder to take a nap during Dr. Warfarin's lecture. These little inputs! Archive File 2. Lisa was protected well, but because of this, there are too many things she hasn't yet seen. She doesn't know about how the infected living outside this land fight for their survival, or the suffering of infected children near her age. Note that while her parents tried to protect her, they weren't trying to dote on her or spoil her. Otherwise, they never would have entrusted her to Rose Island. Should we provide Lisa with normal living conditions, or should we teach her the means to rebel? Ultimately, we should give her the ability to make that choice. But before that, we must first teach her to recognize the world around her. We hope that our operators can enjoy a bit of the warmth that acting as a parent, but at the same time, also understand the immense responsibilities that comes from that role. Nevertheless, when the day Lisa departs and Rhodes Island comes, we all hope that she is well equipped to face this blemished but still worthwhile world. Archive File 3. Miss Suzerain's mother is from Syracuse, and is a member of one of the core families there. Suzerain's father is a kanushi, or priest, who built a small name for himself in a certain city-state in Higashi. In light of recent situations and the vast distance between Higashi and Syracuse, it is hard to imagine how Suzerain's parents met, fell in love, and then had their daughter, Lisa. Suzerain inherited her mother's hair color and facial features, but she also inherited the sacred bloodline of her father, seen through her 9 tails. At one point, this trait made Suzerain recognized as heir to her father's priesthood status, but her father did not intend to allow his daughter to be shackled to the family's endless shrine duties. While he firmly believed that what he did brought succor to the people, he clung onto selfish hopes that his daughter could have a broader and freer future. Aww. That's nice of the dad. As such, Suzerain was secretly taken to Syracuse by her mother, but the peaceful times did not last long. Her mother's family was involved in a bout of civil unrest against the Beep family. During this uprising, Suzerain, who was recognized as her mother's weak point, was injured during a certain plot when a shard of originium hidden within a stuffed doll cleanly pierced her left arm. One can imagine how remorseful Suzerain's mother felt as a result of this incident. After entrusting Suzerain to Rhodes Island, her mother personally led an assassination attempt against the assailant's family, and has not been heard from since. Oof. Oh man, Mama was pissed. I mean, I don't blame her. As for how we learned about these inside stories that are rarely known even inside the city-states of Syracuse, we must keep Lisa a secret. Just imagine though, a high priest and a mafia boss or mafia higher-up getting together. Bad girl and good boy. Archive file number 4. After pushing away a large number of personnel eager to write the file for Good Girl Lisa. Good Girl Lisa. The author carefully recorded Suzerain's performance in Rhodes Island in the most objective way possible. Suzerain wakes up at 7 o'clock every morning, makes her bed, brushes her teeth, reads for 10 minutes from a poetry anthology, and heads to the medical department to learn how to use her originium arts to actively help other infected children around her age to manage their emotions. And around noon, all the on-duty medics express their concern and stress the importance that she takes a half-hour nap. And she readily complies because she's a good girl, and after waking up, she will drink a hot cup of hot chocolate. She'll drink a cup of hot chocolate with cream, and if an operator ever gives her gifts, she will always refuse politely, with a gracious bow, and if she ever meets a stranger, she will simply bow her head while standing behind an operator, and keep walking forward. And during the afternoons, after she attends one of Warfarin's lectures, she will always stay behind to clean the room and turn off the lights, and at night, she basically always stays in her room, and if she's tired of reading, she will ask if she can help the logistics operators and with some chores, and of course, even a little bit of praise will make her blush. She goes to sleep before 10 p.m. every evening, and occasionally plays with Popcar and Shamir, so please remember that Miss Suzerain is our light. What is this record? Oh my goodness. And the lack of punctuation is just like, I'm just imagining they're saying it in one go. It's like, yeah, Suzerain wakes up at blah 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 blah. Suzerain, good girl. Oh my goodness. The next HR personnel to check this document should add in punctuation marks and attempt to make an objective as make as objective an observation as possible. Objective observation. Miss Suzerain is what keeps us going. Please ask the next HR personnel to avoid making exaggerated claims when checking this document. I understand that taking care of a well-mannered infected child can be quite therapeutic, but work is work, so please refrain from being excessively simple-minded. Do not let Lisa meet Lapland. Oops. Please ask the next HR personnel to explain the rationale behind otherwise unsubstantiated claims when checking this document. This intimidating statement is not to be used as reference. Addendum, after checking, the above statement did not originate from the HR department. Please keep an eye on where these files are placed and maintain confidentiality at all times. Promotion record. Lisa's parents, a couple who couldn't be more different, did everything in their power to protect their daughter. To be honest, they're incredibly brave. Her father cannot be considered a political heavyweight, and her mother was but one of her clan's underlings, and despite that, they were able to smuggle a 9-tailed Volpa out of the isolated Higashi, even though she was identified to be a successor. In Syracuse, they managed to maintain a good education for her within the chaotic and predatory environment of Syracuse. What makes them so strong? Lisa has received only basic courses on Originium Arts in Rhodes Island, but considering her age, even these courses are far beyond the norm. Lisa would often burn the edges of her dress because of her poor control over Originium Arts, trying to put a smile in front of concerned operators. After all, not everything can be explained away by naivety. The success and progress she achieved was not due to either to her pedigree or innate talent. She may still be a child, but as with Amiya, do not overlook her inner fortitude. Lisa's been working hard silently, and she also been growing silently. That is a power that she has always possessed, without us needing to tell her about our ideals, the times, or the grand propositions for Terra. She does not need us to underestimate her, let alone coddle her. Let Lisa see both the beauty and cruelty of this land, and I dare say that every person who claims to want to protect Lisa will be protected by this strong child in the end. Cute. Very, very cute. So sweet. Too bad she doesn't have a thingy. But yes, Put Lisa and Lappy in one squad. Yes, indeed. Especially Lappy the jobless. Lappy the unemployed. Oh, cute. Pocket Omamori. Aww. Before entrusting her to Rhodes Island and departing, Suzerain's father solemnly handed an Omamori charm to his daughter, whose eyes were puffy and red as could be. Once this Omamori is no longer TikTok's, we'll be back with you. To any bystander, it would seem the kind of promise meant to pull the wool over a small child's eyes. But between her jerking sobs, Suzerain nodded. My mom and dad never break promises, Suzerain said to her friends following that. And so she kept the heavy little pouch on her from then on. At bedtime each evening, she took a listen to the TikTok inside her Omamori and told it everything she wanted to say to her parents before soundly falling asleep, night after night. Adorable. It seems like maybe both of them took her together. Someone did pester Suzerain to take the Omamori apart and shut it off whenever was inside, but Suzerain sternly refused on principle. You can't take an Omamori apart. It won't work anymore if you do. She knew what its internals were, really. It was a simple thing. Figured out with just a touch, then some general knowledge, but she chose to believe and wait, day after day. Finally, one noon, the trembling inside her personnel pouch stopped. Her mom suddenly showed up behind her, and her dad was carrying a massive bag, his face filled with gentle smiles. The gentle smile she so missed. Promises are something this couple never neglects. The family briefly reunited in Rhodes Island and spent several days and nights worth remembering. Oh, look at that! Adorable. The one time there's actually like a really happy, wholesome family. Between a mafia member and a priest. But very quickly, they once again bid farewell. This time, her father solemnly read out a prayer and opened the sealed Omamori, while her mother carefully examined the watch face, and wound the pocket watch's spring. They finished their parts, and soon asked Suzerain to tie the Omamori rope tight. Aww. This simple, unadorned ceremony did not go on for long, but it was a concentrated, serious matter for all. A Kanushi, an assassin, an operator, a father, a mother, and a daughter. Through this tiny Omamori, the three souls are bound together as tight as could be. It is respect through which promises are kept. It is trust through which endurance is willing. The land throws them far apart, but love transcends space and time, granting them the power to meet again. Once this Omamori no longer TikToks, will be back for you. Until then, remember to go to bed on time. Have a safe journey, Mom, Dad. Children of Terra. Suzerain catches the sight of two tense medic operators, one wearing a hazmat suit and the other carrying a refuse bag, both at the door to the playroom waiting to strike. The chain of events isn't complicated. A damaged jaw, an agitated child, a failed casting attempt, and now a toy meant to be fixed by arts is instead skewered by a sinister originium crystal. Suzerain passes by to see the boy hugging it, wailing, forbidding anyone from taking it away. It just threw some rocks. It didn't do anything bad. It's not dangerous. Suzerain once had a doll too, but a much daintier one. In a little blue coat and stuffed with fluffy, must-be fur. It too grew a crystal like this. And she just nodded off, holding it when a stabbing pain pulled her violently from dreamland. I saved it from a rubbish bin. I saved it. You can't throw it away again. Suzerain doesn't remember that night too well, but she does remember nestling in the faint warmth of her mother's arm, and the doctor's soft, gentle voice. Nothing taken for processing, nothing thrown away. The next morning, an identical doll sat on her bed, no hint of damage. Mom and Dad were like this when they got taken away. Everything gets taken away and just buried. Why are you scared of me? Why are you scared of our stuff? Suzerain has just a little idea why. That's not how things happen in her life, but she thinks maybe she can get things to change to the way she recognizes, so... Ignoring the medic operators trying to stop her, Suzerain walks up to the boy and tells him a story. Hey, hello, hello. I got lucky with my first lappy. I want another one, but now I'm just kind of debating. Hello. I don't think this doll's actually dangerous at all. Really? You think so too? Yeah. These stones are amber from another land. Look, you can even see through them. The people with stones on them, in the end, they bury inside those stones to sleep, just like bugs do in amber. And when they wake up, they journey to the other land. I knew those memes were lying to me. They didn't say anything except they're dead, and nobody explained. They just kept on going on about dead means dead, so I think they just don't know either. I don't know if they know or not, but the other land is real. When people grow stones and then disappear, that means they've journeyed over there. Right now, they're lying in golden lakes, basking in the nicest, warmest sunlight. 3 Vulpes, 1 Naran, and no Lappy. Oh gosh! Yeah, you know? That might just be how it be. Mama's probably just having a nice time with her husband. You know, as one do. Then are we going to one day? We are, but you have to go to sleep properly, because that's how the journey succeeds. See, the dog can't fall asleep right now because it's too noisy in here. So can you let it rest in peace? Thereafter, in the rec room, there's just a doll in a glass case with a wrinkled note stuck on the outside. On a journey, do not disturb. So precious, so adorable. I can't wait to learn more about her mom. I mean, well, what if Lisa wants a sibling, you know? Who knows? I also want to see Dad. Like, how did Dad pull Mom? I gotta know. Oh my goodness. The little animation. I didn't realize she pulls a penguin out. Basic info. Codename Texas. Gender female. Combat experience 5 years. Place of birth Colombia. Date of birth June 1. Race Lupo. Height 161 centimeters. So it's officially Emperor, like legit. Infection status. Medical tests have confirmed that no infection is present. Physical exam. Physical strength excellent. Mobility excellent. Physical resilience standard. Oh wait. Okay. You know, have you guys seen Sakamoto Days? I wonder if that's how the mom fell in love with the dad. Kind of like how Sakamoto fell in love with his wife. Like, oh, so wholesome! That smile! Ugh! And that's when she knew it was meant to be. Yes, that love at first sight thing. By how nice, the kindness. Cause that would be adorable. Physical exam. Physical strength excellent, mobility excellent, physical resilience excellent, physical resilience standard. Tactical acumen excellent, combat skill excellent. Yes, they should make a manga of their meeting, I want to see that. Combat skill excellent, Originium arts assimilation excellent. Profile, Penguin Logistics employee, last surviving member of the Texas family, excellent solo combat ability. Clinical analysis, Imaging tests reveal clear, normal outlines of internal organs, and no abnormal shadows have been detected. Originium granules have not been detected in the circulatory system, and there is no sign of infection. At this time, this operator is believed to be uninfected. Cell originium assimilation 0%. Operator Texas shows no sign of originium infection. Blood originium crystal density 0.12. To be able to avoid infection in such a dangerous environment is a minor miracle and testament to Operator Texas's abilities. Archive File 1. An old friend of Rhodes Island. Many were shocked when Texas came to Rhodes Island with the two who would later become Vigil and Penance, as she looked unmistakably Syracusan. Those who knew her were uneasy about her return to Syracusa, though it was well known that she had something to do with the country. No one knew what lay in her past. Their minds were set at ease by the fact that she was joined by Penguin Logistics members. After all, Texas would be Texas as long as she was in Penguin Logistics. However, when it was learned what happened to her and Syracusa, who she had brought to Rhodes Island, a consensus was quickly reached. Don't mess with Texas. Of course. Archive File 2. For Texas, Giovanna and Lapland each represented her past lives in Colombia and Syracusa. If not for what happened 7 years ago, she might have become a reticent Lapland, or cold-blooded Giovanna. Lapland symbolized hysteria towards Syracusa. She could not face it, but there was nowhere else to go. Giovanna represented apprehension towards Colombia. She knew she did not have to do it, but she did not know what else to do. Texas knows that she would have walked the same paths as them if she had not run away from it all. Whenever she came face to face with Lapland and Colombia, it filled her with nostalgia, but guilt as well. That is why she tolerated Lapland's actions and accepted Giovanna's reproach. She was a Texas no matter how much she detested everything to do with the family. She knew the price she paid when she chose to step away from it all. Was it worth it? She asked herself this many times, and unsurprisingly was never able to find the answer. After leaving Colombia and Syracusa, she desperately sought a new life to replace the old one. For her, life is not about searching for meaning. It was life itself that was worth searching for. Fortunately, she found what she was looking for. Archive File 3. Texas and Penguin Logistics did not stay in Nuova Volsini for long. She returned to Longmen with other members soon after the events concluded. Penguin Logistics reopened, and there did not seem to be many changes in their lives, but she also met her promise to Vigil. She would be there when Nuova Volsini needs her. Nuova Volsini was established with Signora Cecilia's blessing, and thus most of the families have chosen to sit on the sidelines, keeping an eye on developments. However, there is no more than the calm before the storm. Texas knows this, as do the rest of Penguin Logistics. At present, the main reason for them to travel between Lungmen and Nuova Volsini is not so much Texas as Sora. The success of La Morte de Texas made Sora a star, prompting Monster Siren Records to change its strategy and encourage her to continue her activities in Syracusa. Nuova Volsini represents an ideal platform for Sora in more ways than one. It was Sora, then, who has to regularly make the trip to Nuova Volsini. Meanwhile, not wishing to let this opportunity go to waste, Croissant approached Bison and is trying to work with Mountain Dash Logistics and Vigil to build an international logistics route. It is a monumental task, but Croissant seems to enjoy it. Apple Pie, for her part, has made it her mission to try every pizza parlor in Wow, I love this. I love her! I love her mission to try every pizza parlor in Syracusa to find the best. I respect that. You know, I'll do that too. Can I do that as well? For now, Texas is the one who is most idle. She knows, however, that there's something tying them together. They will always be together, whether going forwards or backwards. Archive File 4. Not much has changed with Texas. She has not taken up the surname Texas to create a new mafia family, nor does she intend to become a part of Nuova Volsini under Vigil. For her, the only change is that she has started to pay regular visits to Nuova Volsini. She has made it clear that she will not stay in Syracusa when all is said and done. She does not want to leave too many traces there, and Vigil respects her decision. He's not interfered with Penny Logistics' new Nuova Volsini branch, and there are few among the mafiosi who know where the last Texas went after her brief reappearance in Volsini. Of course, things are constantly changing. The ways that Bernardo stirred have calmed, but the families have begun to stir again. Syracuse's balance teeters on a precipice, leaving precious little time for Nuova Volsini to grow peacefully. At the same time, the game that the Signori de Lupi have played for many years has come to the surface. This round is coming to an end, and the impact it will have on Syracuse is yet unknown. The only thing that is certain is that change is coming to Syracuse. Should she claim power, or at least associate herself with it, in the name of the greater good? Texas knows that the answer should be yes. Yet she has chosen to distance herself from Vigil and Penance. Her line of thinking is simple. She does not belong to that greater good. She's simply one of the common folk who felt outraged from the goodness of her heart. Her only promise to Vigil was that she would keep fighting until either Syracuse has changed or she is no more. Her motion record. At the celebration of Texas' return, Emperor brought up the founding of Penny Logistics. He was studying street performance in Colombia when he smelled the presence of a Signora de Lupi on Colombian soil, much to his surprise. I wonder what it smelled like. He decided to look into it and found Zaro dealing with a human, Texas.
Don't give me that look, Texas. Did you really think we met on the street by chance?
He became interested in the mortal, who was able to deal with a Signora de Lupi, so he followed her, only to see her doubts and pent-up anger. For a long time she lived like a walking corpse.
I learned what happened to the Texas family, so I thought, I'd help you kids out a little. Ain't no time for brooding when your feet are busy, so I found this joint and dragged her into it.
Huh? Just huh?
What's the matter? Didn't think you had it in you to do something so decent, boss. Hey, I get no respect around here.
The Colombia's the reason you like rap?
No, I'm the reason Colombia likes rap.
Ah, beautiful. And yeah, catching up by reading some things about the other characters. Woohoo! Did the 4 stars and 5 stars last time. This time it's a 6 stars. Though, when I do start the event next week, I am gonna start off with Lapland. My Lappy. I have my Lappies ready on my account. Ooh, it's gonna be fun. I feel happy with these records. Tonight's one? Okay. Out of the records, the one that stood out to me the most tonight. Okay, I do like the part of smacking Teresa, but I need to know later on why Irene was there for Vigil's one. Like, what the heck? No, there's a lot. Even if it's long, at least the event's long. Ha 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 ha, cries. Cry. Kind of ish anyways. But yeah, I need to know why Irene was there. Hopefully we'll figure out. And Leo looks great in his new suit. But overall, the thing that was the most entertaining for these 4 just had to be this. Suzerain's record, or her file, because I love the way they're all just like fangirling over her. Holy cow. Wonderful behaved child. So wonderful. So adorable. So wholesome. Miss Suzerain is our light. And yeah, that's doable, 2 streams in each week. Definitely doable. I gotta read the manga sometime tonight. I can be good like that. While eating some dinner, maybe I'll make myself some instant noodles, or I'll just eat a banana and yogurt. I'll just see how I feel after I leave my room afterwards. But woohoo! I feel satisfied. Yay for the preparation being complete.
Poof, poof, poof.
Oh man, I can't wait to see the craziness for Texas guys later on. Lapland the unemployed though. Oh, I still gotta raise her some more. I need EXP tickets, that's the sad part. That's the only issue. She's baby leveled. Like, I promoted her, but ooh, her level is so small. Yeah, it was a surprise. Same. I think it's because the others didn't have records. But you know, that just means I have time for meal, so I feel good and reading the manga. So I think I'll be good. I'll go look for a snack. Foo 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 foo. So with that being said, thank you for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day and epic gacha luck. I'm gonna go see what I can eat now. So I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. Food time. Because I finished early. That means there's hope in the world. Nom 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 nom.